It took me 10 years in the gym to learn what I'm going to tell you, hopefully, in the next 5 minutes. I'm going to go through 4 absolute essentials that you need to grow muscle, to drop body fat, and essentially completely transform your physique. And the first one that I can almost guarantee you do not have within your plan is a timeline. And what a timeline does is takes your end goal. Let's say, summer next year, you want to be in really good shape. So what? We've got about 6-7 months right now. So it takes the end goal. In that position, you want to have more muscle and you want to be leaner. And from there, it reverse engineers exactly what you need to do to get there. So let's say, again, you've got 7 months. Maybe right now you've got a little bit too much body fat. So we go into a 8 to 12 week diet and you manage to pull off 8 to 12 kilos, something along those lines. Once you've got to that position, that might be, 3 months out of the 7 months down the line. You've got 4 months to go. Potentially you then go into a phase where you want to grow a little bit of muscle and you go into a 3-4 month muscle building phase before that holiday to kind of fill out a little bit and build that muscle. Or if you really want to be lean for that holiday, just swap those two round, go into a muscle building phase, try and put on some size, and then 3 months or so before you go away, get into that dieting phase. And honestly, with these timelines, you can map them out for a long time. Within the coaching, I try to map out usually around about 12 months of a timeline. And of course, later down the line, it gets less and less accurate for exactly what you're going to be doing. But this timeline just keeps you super accountable to what you're doing on every week of every month of every year, depending on how long that timeline is that you set out. And it's just gonna keep you to the plan. It's gonna make you stick to the plan because you know exactly what you're doing within each week. So get your timeline written out, get that end goal written out, and then work back from there to work out exactly what you need to be doing between those dates. I'm just gonna interrupt this video to say all of this is what I set out within my coaching, but I appreciate you might not know me. You might not want to know me, but if you do want a insight into what we do with the coaching, I am offering out a free POA, which goes through the timeline, the training, the nutrition, and the activity that I think would be a really good idea for you to kind of go ahead with. Like I say, it's completely free. All you need to do is click my Instagram below, DM me asking for the free POA, and I'll get in touch, send it across, and I think it will probably very, very much help. The second thing you obviously need is training. Now, I really want to quickly just cut out all the noise and tell you exactly what you need to do. Step 1 is understand how to train well. You need to be able to target certain muscle groups with good form as well as you can. So if you're quite new to the gym, start going. Don't worry about anything else apart from just getting good at the movements. And honestly, you could get really good at them in 2 to 4 weeks. It just needs practice and it needs intent. Now, if you're not sure what to do, you obviously need help. You need someone to help tell you exactly how to do these movements. Once you've got that in place, you need to start training really, really, really hard. And honestly, cut out everything else. All the noise you hear on social media, just train hard. I've spoken to loads of people in the gym that have got a lot of muscle, right? And looking at the training, I would question it. I'd be thinking, there's potentially some stuff that they could be doing there, but they've still got loads of muscle. And the reason is they train very, very hard. So make sure within each individual set, you're pushing very close to failure. And what does it actually look like? That essentially means when you get into that final rep that you're doing, it needs to move very slowly. So say you're doing a bench press. On the way up, it should be a grind. It should be really hard to move. If you get this right and you get the form right, undoubtedly your training will be in a place where you can actually grow muscle. Of course, you can start talking about how many sets you should be doing, exercise selection, how many reps you should be doing within each exercise, etc. That is the 10% that makes it a little bit better. But the 90% is good form and training hard. And I promise you, just focus on that if you've not got that down already. If you want to take that level up and take that next step up, of course, start looking into the extras that are going to make it that 1% better. But get the form, get the intensity in place first. Number 3 is your nutrition. And again, simplifying it right down, what do you actually need? Number 1, you need to understand your caloric intake. how much food do you need to maintain your body weight? That gives you the initial set point. Work on that in the first week or two, trying to understand how many calories you actually need. Once you've got that in place, depending on the phase that you set out in the timeline, you need to work out, okay, do I need to drop it or do I need to increase it? Whether you're trying to build muscle, increase by maybe 200. If you're trying to lose body fat, then maybe drop it by 500 to 1,000, depending on how aggressive you really want to be with the diet. 500 is probably going to have you losing about half a kilo a week, roughly. 1,000 calorie deficit is going to have you losing at roughly a kilo a week. So get that in place. Once you've got the caloric balance in place, there's a few more bits that I want you to start thinking about. Number one is protein. Ideally, you want to work towards being able to have around about 2 grams of protein per kilo of body weight. So if you're 80 kilos, work towards getting 160, but don't just get there straight away. If right now you're eating like 70 grams of protein, bumping up to 160 is going to give you pretty smelly digestion, we'll put it that way. So work yourself up there. Maybe go an extra 20 grams one week and then an extra 20 grams the next week. And obviously, if you don't know, you can get protein from animal sources like chicken, beef, yogurt, eggs, etc. All of these are really, really good sources. And then the third and final, there's probably one more nutrition, but third point for nutrition is your fat intake. Fats are really essential for hormone regulation, for brain function, a whole load of things. So you want to make sure you're actually getting enough fats in. I see a lot of people when they diet just completely cut fats, and it gives you really low energy, hormones tank, really struggle to grow any more muscle because of it. So try to stay above 40 grams a day. For females, I'd even go a little bit higher, and try to get the vast majority of your fats from fats that are liquid at room temperature. That's generally a pretty good rule of thumb. And then have a few from solid fats at room temperature. So like olive oil, really, really good option to kind of tick that box. And then a final one on nutrition is macros. Calories are great, but you do actually need to get some micronutrition in. I could go into serious depths with this, but just eat veg and fruit, and you're generally going to be okay. Try to get some sort of citrusy fruit each day to kind of tick the water-soluble vitamins, tick that box, and try to get some veggies. You know, you could track it, you could make sure you're hitting all the numbers, but just start at that. Start by having fruit and veg in every single meal, and you should be in a reasonably good spot from that front. So then the final point, the final big anchor that's going to make a difference with building muscle, with dropping body fat, is cardio, activity, steps, that whole thing, right? What I want you to understand is cardio and steps are great, but they're not going to burn a massive amount of body fat. It's just not going to make a huge difference to the deficit. So yes, do cardio. Yes, do steps. Steps wise, if you can do 8,000 plus, that is fantastic. Cardio wise, if you can do maybe 20 minutes after each of your training sessions, if you're training 3, 4, 5 times a week, that would be fantastic, especially if you're trying to be in a deficit. But don't use that as your main source of creating that calorie deficit, because you're just going to have to do so much to actually create that. So create the vast majority of your deficit from your food, supplement that with cardio and with increasing your steps. Generally, I like to look at steps and cardio as they're there to increase the deficit, sure, but their main job is ticking the health box. And to do that, you need about 8,000 steps. That would be fantastic. And cardio-wise, you need 60 minutes plus throughout the week. So yeah, that is my top 4-5 points there for actually getting in shape, to stop wasting your time and really just focusing on the absolute foundations there that are going to make a difference and make a change to your physique. So hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, drop a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.